is exactly why people don't believe white people when they say they stand in solidarity. This is exactly why people have to speak out about every single issue.
What's good, cousins, and welcome back again on another episode. How are you guys doing? I really hope you all are doing great, and if you're joining for the very first time, thank you so much for being here today. In today's video, we are going to talk about this white liberal influencer, TikTok influencer, that has been going viral about a particular video that she made that isn't sitting well with a lot of people. In this video, she kind of warned her audience ahead not to drag her because they are going to see her in an ad very, very soon. I know we all know that since the ethnic cleansing of the people of Palestine started, there have been so many companies listed that people have talked about boycotting, and we all know that Starbucks is one of those top companies that people have been talking about boycotting. And I feel like she's scared that if people get to see her in that hat, they are definitely going to drag her. So she came online to explain to people that why she decided to be on that hat, and to tell them beforehand, before they even get to see the hat, that they are going to see her in an ad. The reason why she says she did the ad is not sitting well with a lot of people. People are not finding it really funny because we believe that for a change to happen, there is going to be some inconvenience. So a video did not sit well with a lot of people. It's actually a very long one. So I want you guys to sit back, relax, watch what this lady said about her agreeing to be on a Starbucks ad to our audience, because I really want to hear what you guys think about this video in the comment section, because I believe there are people who have questions like this and be like, what if it's my work and I don't have money and they come to me to want to work with me? Should I say no? I feel like this video kind of opened that window of conversation about this topic. So without wasting much time, I want you guys to relax and let me roll the clip of our video before we go into what the people are saying about our video.
Y'all are gonna see me in an ad. And I signed that ad before we started boycotting. And I was in the Atlanta airport the other day, and I was like, I need a coffee and I need a snack. So I went to Krispy Kreme. And since then, I've made coffee at home, and I have almost always gone to local coffee shops. So you're going to see me in that ad, and you're going to think, what the hell? Hope is pro-Palestine. And why is she supporting this company that we're all boycotting? Here's what I'll say. One, I signed the deal before the boycott started, as I already said. Two, the night I sent in the content is the same night I found out about the boycott. And I want to be honest about that. And I had this moment where I was like, is this okay? This is probably not okay. And I knew ethically it was not great. And I have to admit this, which is embarrassing. But I was not in the financial situation to say, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. Fuck off. Because I don't make that much money. I think people see people on the internet and assume like, oh, we make so much money. I don't. I make a decent amount of money and I can make rent, but I can't really say no. And I wanted to pull out. But I don't want to say I didn't have a choice, because I always have a choice, and I made my choice. And you can do with that information whatever you want. But I went through with it. What have I been doing since I found out about the boycott? I went to Krispy Kreme in the Atlanta airport, you know? I haven't been going. Now, do I think, though, that every person that continues to go, and this is going to be an unpopular opinion. The other day I was at Planned Parenthood because I was getting tested, a little routine testing done, which we should all do. And all the ladies in the Planned Parenthood, I was sitting there waiting to see the doctor, and somebody comes rolling through with a big thing of Starbucks. Huge. Six orders. And I thought, oh gosh, the internet would be fucking pissed about that. And in one sense, you could be right to be mad about that, right? If you are aware of it and you know, and you still continue to go, sure, there can be pushback there. But also, the ladies working at Planned Parenthood getting Starbucks, they're doing so much good already. They're working really hard jobs, and they're doing what they need to do to get through the day. And I think sometimes people on the left, all I want to say is like, I wish everybody had the same capacity to protest, boycott, stand in solidarity. And on the internet, it feels like everyone has the same capacity. I have one friend who is so deeply caring, so deeply loving, and so deeply a community worker. But they are a full-time teacher, full-time caretaker, don't have the time to be on the internet and to be fully informed and to be doing whatever they need to do. And you can't blame someone for that because they don't have the capacity or the means to do what maybe the left feels is correct. Protest, boycott, whatever. And though I take full responsibility, I made the decision I made. I said yes to a brand deal before the boycott, found out about the boycott, did not pull the deal because I needed to make rent and I did not have the financial wherewithal. If I hadn't said yes to that, if I had pulled out, I would not have been able to make rent. That's just the God's honest truth, and that's embarrassing. But so, a couple people have been in my comments acting like I'm the enemy. And I get it. I made a choice that is not in alignment with the movement or what we're trying to do. And I'm sorry about that. Just know, though, I support the cause. And I understand why it feels so frustrating, because just because someone supports the cause doesn't really mean it's enough. And it might not be enough, but it's like, it's what I had to do. And I wish I could have done more, and I wish I could have said no, but sometimes reality takes precedent. Anyways, I'm sorry.
That was the video she posted explaining to her audience on the reason why she was on the Starbucks ad. And I would really like you guys to let me know what you think about a reason for, not pulling out of that deal in the comment section. Because before you even start watching what these teachers have to say, before you start listening to other people's thought process, what do you think hearing this? Like, what is your own reaction to what this lady claimed to be the reason why she could not pull out? Remember, in the beginning of the video, she mentioned that she's not making money, but she can make her rent online. Remember, she mentioned that. And then she, I think in other videos, talk about how she wants to travel and other things like that. So I really want to hear what you guys think. And then again, to top it up, there were people in our comment section of our video saying she did not do anything wrong, like she should not beat up herself for it. She should give herself grace. She shouldn't do this. Like, she didn't do anything wrong. Basically, just like on her side, because these other stitches are pointing it out as well. So this video went viral, and people who were stitching to it a lot were not in agreement of what this lady said. They were not agreeing with her. They were dragging her. And I would like you guys to hear what these people are saying about our video.
Y'all are going to see me in an ad.
It's Starbucks. In case you're wondering, that's who she did an ad for. She said she stopped drinking Starbucks, but she made paid content for them. She knew about the boycott, but she sent the content in anyway. Are white liberals okay? The craziest thing is that in the comments underneath that content, there are a bunch of white women saying it's okay, you need to give yourself grace, we don't get mad at baristas. But we all know that baristas are probably working their first jobs there. It's their main source of income. They can't afford to quit Starbucks. Whereas this content creator admits that they have another job, they were able to make rent, and they just made the content anyway because they couldn't say no. It kind of begs the question, what are white liberals willing to sacrifice? This is an extremely important movement. Thousands of people are dying. There's a targeted boycott against Starbucks and McDonald's, and this creator says that they're part of that boycott, and they were emailing people from one of the companies that was being boycotted. They had the opportunity to not only withdraw their consumerism, but also withdraw their labor, and they chose to give it up. Why? Because they were offered an amount of money that allowed them to go traveling in Europe. Because they couldn't say no. It kind of begs the question, what are white liberals willing to sacrifice?
Absolutely nothing, and I'm gonna tell you why. I've been talking about this repeatedly. It needs to get to the point where the danger is knocking on their door. And it's not yet. Actually, the danger is nowhere near the average white liberal right now. And that's really another point I want to make. Proximity. When we talk about what's happening in the world, it's almost all affecting brown and black people. So as a non-brown and black person seeing all this, you're like, okay, I need to act, but it's not like it's coming to me yet. So I'm still gonna, ease into my comforts a bit, but I'll also dabble in a little social activism just so I can look like I'm a part of the cause or the movement. They are not taking this as serious as all of us are because they know that they're not as close to the danger as we are. And as liberals, they know that the system is still going to work for them a little bit, especially being palm-colored liberals. So I don't think it's a matter of asking what are they willing to sacrifice. It's when are they willing to sacrifice and what's it gonna take.
Y'all are gonna see me in an ad.
She did an ad for Starbucks. She did an ad for Starbucks to pay her rent. You know what? I can sit here and I can say how mad and disappointing and frustrating that is. That's probably already been said, so I'm gonna say something else. Why not figure out alternatives to pay your rent? I feel as though y'all take internet radical activity and you cosplay it and you don't actually try to implement these things in your life. I work in mutual aid and help people pay their rent, specifically people within a specific community. But the point is, these mutual aid organizations and different organizations that help people pay their rent exist because we know that capitalist systems are not built to protect people. They're built to divide and segregate the rich from the poor. And when you're a content creator and your opinion is marketed, if you have the wrong opinion or the most radical opinion, we already know that we're not going to get money or brand deals or sponsorships. Listen to a huge creator talk about how they dropped their sponsorships or were dropped by their sponsorships because of their support for Palestine. But they knew it was going to happen. They're not surprised. They knew exactly what was going to happen when they did that. They took that sacrifice and now they're figuring out how to pay their rent. But when it comes to white liberals, y'all are the last people to sacrifice anything. And the first people who always want excuses or permission or sympathy. And honestly, I'm not going to give that to you. Because as much as I can empathize with the need to pay your rent, I also want to challenge you and say, you have so much power with your platform and your identity. How are you using it? By simply just not going to Starbucks? That's so bare minimum. That's so minute. Ultimately, when white liberals choose to make excuses for themselves instead of engaging in radical action, relating to community, organizing, doing mutual aid work, whether it's for themselves or other people, you're basically saying that I will entertain this to an extent. She goes on to say how she walks into Planned Parenthood and everybody's buying Starbucks. I think we all have this experience where our internet world and our real world become a little confusing because we're just like, how do we interact with this non-radical space and this slightly more radical space without expressing ourselves in a way that seems absolutely crazy? Because we think when we look at internet culture that canceling and all of the over-emphatic anger that people like to hyper-fixate on is the only way to go about solutions for change. Don't you think with your huge platform and your power and your marketability and identity, you could help Planned Parenthood divest from Starbucks to buy their coffee somewhere else? Perhaps talking to their manager and setting something up, using your voice to literally make a change within your community? Because that's something that I would be willing to do with my small ass amounts of power and lack of privilege. Because ultimately the worst thing that they can do is say no, and ultimately it doesn't matter what your perception of these people, these workers, just simply want Starbucks are. Because people think just because you can seem like a good person, I don't want to use good people, bad people term, means that is an excuse to not contribute towards radical action that needs to be done. The whole point of radical is it will make you uncomfortable. And I don't really lead by anger or frustration, but the hard things need to be done. Sometimes you have to say no. and you have to engage with non-radical people and challenge them to question their beliefs or their actions. So if you had gotten up here and you had said, you know what, I fucked up, you're gonna see me in an ad, I chose to do this to pay my rent, judge me, unfollow me, divest from me, it is what it is. I would have at least respected that more than you come here and try to justify yourself and hide behind this guise of like, we all do things that we don't really love and regret. Because you're just trying to use that as an excuse to make people feel sorry for you. I get on the internet every day, mutuals who engaging in mutual aid so that they can pay their rent, they can pay their bills, that they don't want to be unhoused. We see them all the time on TikTok. Maybe you don't. And ideally, we'll sit here and help them and support them in ways that we can. There's so much money and power behind community, but fuck investing in it. Let's just not sacrifice anything. I get really tired of this. What do you want from this? Permission? Approval? Y'all have to learn that sacrifice and radical is going to be fucking uncomfortable. And until you learn that lesson, it's just going to be disappointing to hear y'all get on the internet and talk about how much we need to feel sorry for you.
Sometimes reality takes precedent.
100,000 likes on this video. Tons of comments in support of what this woman is saying. Are you fucking with me? Sometimes reality takes precedence. Your reality is having a fucking apartment that's for rent for $3,000 a month so you can have some fucking green cabinets. Their reality is losing their entire family on Christmas fucking day, being starved to death. Your reality does not take precedence over theirs. And if you think your reality takes precedence over theirs, you're not fucking in solidarity. You're not in solidarity. I've been told to my face that I'm putting my kid in danger because I have a cardboard cutout of Free Palestine in the back of my car. Yes, I'm making myself a target. But my reality is that I'm not even on the fucking map to be a target. Their reality is that they're already targeted. They're already dead. They're already under the rubble. Their reality takes precedence over mine because I'm safe. I'm okay. My lights are on. My TV's on. I can pay rent. Just like you said in your video, your reality is privilege. And the fact that you don't see that and then you sit there and you try to apologize, you're disgusting. You're fucking disgusting. And this is exactly why people don't believe white people when they say they stand in solidarity. This is exactly why people have to speak out about every single issue, every single injustice, because of people like you. Don't sit there and say you stand in solidarity with Palestine when you had a choice and you chose to support genocide.
Y'all are gonna see me in an ad.
It's Starbucks, in case you're wondering.
I really have a feeling that a lot of white liberals are getting on social media and saying that they're supporting the boycott, but in their own personal lives, not doing that. And some of them are so dumb that they will say, I support the boycott. I just made this ad for Starbucks, but I'm not buying any Starbucks. What? The lack of integrity is astounding, and it should be embarrassing. When somebody questions your integrity, I feel like that's about the worst thing that could happen. I mean, well, there's way worse things. But if somebody questions my integrity, that would affect me deeply because it's something that is a source of pride in me. But anyway, I hope you enjoy that blood money.
I can make rent, but I can't really say.
Y'all heard that. Y'all heard her. She makes a decent amount of money and she can pay rent. Okay? She's not in dire straits. She's not living like hand to fist. She knows where her next meal is going to come from. She doesn't have to worry about her electricity being shut off. She's not worried about being evicted. She makes a decent amount of money and she makes rent. Why is this important? Now, why is this important? She's been going on for weeks about how shitty a company Starbucks is, how they're pro-Israel. And she is pro-Palestinian. She says she's an ally of the Palestinian people. There's this huge Starbucks boycott. They're losing millions, tens of millions of dollars because of this boycott. Now get this. She says she signed a contract to do an ad with Starbucks the same night she found out about the boycott. She signed the contract. A couple hours later, she found out about the boycott. What did she do? Did she hold firm to her morals and values and ethics and say, listen, I need to contact Starbucks. I can't do this. I cannot live with myself. I'll talk to Starbucks. I'll have my lawyer talk to them, and we'll give back the money. And sure, my reputation will take a bit of a hit when it comes to sponsorship deals, but it'll be worth it. Because I'm an ally of the Palestinian people, and I don't flinch when it comes to affecting me. Nope. She signed the contract. She kept the money. She didn't use the money to pay rent, to buy groceries, to keep the electricity on. Nope. Rumor has it, she used the money for a trip. She definitely used the money for extracurricular activities. She sold out her allyship for a couple $1,000s. This just goes to show what hypocrites these big content creators are. They will use and manipulate the emotions of people, whether it's exploiting the situation of the people of Palestine living in a fucking war zone in Gaza just to get views, just to make a couple of bucks off of TikTok and other social media sites, just so that they can survive, in their words, make a living. They'll say whatever they have to get the views, to get the support in for them. That's it. They don't give a shit. They have no ethics, morals, or values. So if you're a follower of her and you've seen her do other sponsorship deals, what other morals and values is she going against? Is she ignoring to get paid a couple $1,000s for a sponsorship deal? How deep does this go? Because it doesn't need to go any deeper. This whole situation with Starbucks is absolute shit. Now she needs to get dragged for it.
What do you guys think about what all of these teachers said? I feel like I agree with what every of these people pointed out, because you are privileged where you are and you can pay the rent. You are not even on a map to be targeted. These people don't have water, they don't have light. And you said, no, I'm not drinking it. I just did that ad because I need the money. In other videos as well, she was talking about how she wants to travel, she needs the money and stuff like that. And the fact that she thinks that there are no sacrifices that are going to be made in order for changes to happen, which leads me to agree to the speech that said that these people are going to come online and act like they are actually in support of the movement to fight for these people in order for them to look cool, not get people off their back. But in reality, their reality is far different from actually in support or being in solidarity to fight for these people who are constantly being murdered. I feel like I totally agree with what they said, because it is the truth. Without her even having to say it directly, she made that video. I saw a comment that said she made that video talking very lightly, very soft, to make it seem like what she's saying actually makes sense. And that is the truth. When people want to sound or convince people to believe them, or to convince them that what they are saying is actually reasonable, they tend to talk in a very lower tone. And I think this is the same thing that she did in that video. She was literally talking one by one, breathing and doing all those things in order to make it seem to people that what she was saying actually makes sense. In that video as well, she admitted to the fact that she could have easily pulled out, but she did not pull out because she wants the money. And it gets on the nerves of people, because people in the comment section who were not telling her the truth. And I feel like these people are stitching to tell her the truth, that if the people who are watching you are following you, because the people who are not even telling her the truth in the comment section, I'm sure you guys already know the people who are in the comment section that are agreeing with this lady. So we don't need to talk much on that. But then I feel like these stitches are to point it out to her and let her know that what you did doesn't actually make sense. Like, what sacrifices can you make for, over 20,000 people that have been killed just because another people want to take over the land that they own? Like, what sacrifices are you making for the kids, for the people whose generation have been killed? What sacrifices are you making for people who have lost everything that they own in life? What sacrifices can you make? And if you are talking about you supporting them but doing an ad for a company that has constantly been funding the genocide of these people, like, the math is not matching. I feel like there's really nothing that this creator is going to say that will justify a reason for literally not pulling out of that. Let me hear what you guys think in the comment section. Thank you all so much for joining, and if you have not subscribed, please subscribe before you go and turn your bell notification on as well, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, and I love you guys.